antidepressants. And that's just wrong. Absolutely wrong. There's 75% in the US and apparently 52% in Australia have been prescribed antidepressants. And it's because people are trying to chase after the dollar or chase after the next partner or chase after whatever. And they've actually forgotten that they need a balance in all areas. You know, you're not going to go to the gym and just work out your left arm, left arm, left arm, left arm and go, hey, I'm really, really strong. But on the other side, you look like you've got polio. You really need to balance. And this is what I didn't do when I was in financial planning, stock market analysis, business, all this time. I was only working on the left side of my brain. And that's when I had a heart attack. That's when I had burnout. And the doctor who did a body scan, it's like one of those temperature scan things, electrolysis scan, on the left side of my head, it looked like I had a toaster oven in there. It was just red hot. And on the right side of my brain, it was just blue. There was nothing. It was just cold. It was crickets. And the doctor said to me, you need to balance out your brain. Otherwise, I said, how do I do that? And he said, well, I don't know. That's your problem. You go figure it out. And back then, like, I didn't dance. I didn't sing. I didn't do any creative. I didn't write poetry. I didn't paint pictures. Like, all that stuff was lame. All that stuff was gay. Like, I'm just focusing on the money, baby. I got the money and, you know, I'll have a good time later. But when you're hanging out with some of these millionaires and billionaires, and if you get close enough to them, they'll actually tell you their little secrets. Some of them paint, some of them do yoga. I would say 100% of the guys that I've spoken to actually meditate, but they just might not call it that. So they might spend time reading sacred scriptures and thinking about their God, or they might fish, or they might do yoga, but anything to clear the head is amazing. Absolutely
right,
amazing.
we're also being featured on Blog TV, so you want to say hello to the people on Stick'em and Blog TV. Thank you guys for hanging around. Appreciate that. Now, I'm going to talk about something that is near and dear to the hearts of a lot of our viewers who are based in Northern America, and this is them basically, at this point in time, freaking out about the economy. As much as the news is about more money being printed and quantitative easing, how can the average person safeguard themselves? This is a serious money question about not, the practicalities of today. How do I pay my bills today? How do I keep my job today? How do I protect my family from or my house being, called up for because I can't pay the mortgage?
I mean, during the GFC, it wasn't just Americans who overspent. It was basically people everywhere who were living the good life and spending, and now you've had to cut back. And you can either cut back because the bank calls you and says, I'm going to repossess your house or your car, or you cut back because all of a sudden you don't have a job anymore and you need to cut back on what food you buy or where you go. Otherwise, you can cut back by choice. And you can choose to cut back. I suggest to all my clients, live on 70% of your income. Save 30%, invest 30%, give away 10%, because if you don't give, you can't receive. That's just fundamental law. It's not necessarily, Christian scripture. It's in the Torah, it's in the Quran, it's in the Buddhist scriptures. You have to give before you receive. But living comfortably on 70% of your income insulates you for any of these shocks. If you happen to lose your job and it's 5 weeks before you get a new job, or if you miss a couple of house payments or the interest rates go up or something like that, you've still got that buffer. When people live on 100% of their income or 110% of their income, that's when the problems happen. And I've done that myself. I was earning a 6-figure income as a financial planner, and I was spending 110, 120% of my income, having a great old time, because I thought it's always going to come in. There's always going to be more, and there's always going to be more. And I wasn't actually planning for, either the economy is going to collapse or I'm going to collapse. Something's going to happen, because on life there are these little bumps, and it might be a health scare. If it's not you, then maybe one of your children gets sick and needs an operation, or you might lose your job, or you might run over a milk bottle and blow all the tires in the car or something like that. So always planning to say, okay, if I can live on this, then I'm prepared for anything that comes along. And a lot of people tell me, oh, I'm broke, I can't afford your services and things like that. And I have a look at their budget and go, well, you're spending $200 a week on cigarettes, or you're spending $500 a month on alcohol, or, you know, entertainment, or trips overseas. It doesn't matter whether it's Tim Tams, whatever it is, everybody has an addiction, okay? For some women it's shoes, for some guys it's smoking, drinking, gambling, whatever it is. But you just got to reassess your priorities and say, you know, if that wasn't there, what else could I do? If that wasn't there, what could be possible for me? You know, yes, you can afford to have a business coach, you can afford to start your own business, but maybe you need to actually chuck something out. I chucked out my TV 8 years ago. I just don't watch TV. You don't ever pick up on the news because you don't hear about the, well, you know, big things people will tell you about, okay? September 11, somebody called me and said, hey, look, there's been a plane crash in New York, all right? When there's an earthquake coming, someone will call you. Or if there's an election, someone will tell you on Facebook. You know, you'll find out about the really, really important things. But I don't need to know about a mudslide in Mexico. I don't need to know about a flood in the middle of China. I can't do anything about that, and all it does is make me feel bad. So I can give away having that negative thoughts in my house. If you had someone who came into your house every single day and just told you negative stories, you'd kick them out. But a lot of people do that with the TV. If you had someone come into your house and try to inject you with poison, you'd kick them out. But a lot of us do that with too much alcohol, too much cigarettes, too much of anything is going to be bad for you. Too much vitamin supplements is going to be bad for you. So reassessing the budget, looking at what you could actually shave out, and being hard with yourself, saying, look, if I lost my job, if the boss came to me and said it's a chance between taking a 30% pay cut or losing your job, most of us would take the 30% pay cut. And if one of your children needed an operation, you would find a way to get that money. So it's just getting that money and doing something sensible with it. I encourage a lot of my clients to start a business if they're employees, and maybe a business they can run on the weekends, and an internet business or a hobby that they're passionate about that they can actually monetize, because you learn so much by being in your own business. You learn so much about yourself. And there's never any business failures, there's only personal failures. That business closed down because that guy didn't know how to handle his money, or he didn't know how to handle his staff. And the people who complain, I can never find good staff, I can never find good staff, that's because you're an asshole. Maybe you need to go and work on yourself, and then you can actually attract good people into your life. I've attracted a wonderful, wonderful woman into my life, you know, and that's because I've worked on myself. My first marriage failed because I failed at it. I didn't work at it. You know, I was never there with her. I was always working.